Great day, emergency management community. I am Dr. Jessica L. Murphy. I'm a professor of technology and emergency management at the Jackson State University, located in Jackson, Mississippi, the capital of the Magnolia and Hospitality State. Today, I would like to discuss with you a very important topic as it relates to the multidisciplinary approach to emergency management and building community resilience. Thank you for joining me today. So let's begin by FEMA's definition of what is emergency management. Emergency management is an agenda. This is where communities decrease and handle disaster and catastrophe. And in that, social scientist Quarantelli predicted that there will be more and even worse disasters. He even predicted that there will be new types of disasters. And we can see that by the state of affairs that our entire world is in today. So, the multidisciplinary approach is very important to emergency management, identifying various avenues in which emergency managers can contribute their services. So let's look at the career projection. Because of this demand, because of new and worse disasters and an increase of disasters, the Bureau of Labor Statistics has indicated that from 2020 to 2030, that this demand is growing faster than average. An 8% increase of need of emergency management is predicted from that 10-year time span. The median salary is $76,250,000. And this is with a bachelor's degree. So, in taking that multidisciplinary approach at Jackson State University, we believe our vision is to provide the community with up to date information to better prepare for natural disasters to minimize the loss of life and property. This helps in turn build community resilience. It also helps to provide an outreach to help overall bounce back of communities and establish a new normal when disaster strikes. The mission is to provide contemporary emergency and disaster preparedness education and training related to natural disasters, specifically weather related and atmospheric events for our underserved communities and vulnerable populations. This is to help to mitigate the loss through effective preparedness and planning. And we overall want to develop the next generation of emergency managers. Our research team consists of the following: me, Jessica Murphy, as the Technology and Emergency Management PI, Dr. Dawn McLinn, who you will see to my right. She is the principal investigator of psychology for this particular multidisciplinary project. Dr. Elaine Hayes Anthony serves as department chair for the Journalism and Media Studies program, is our senior advisor. Professor Don Spann, also journalism and media studies, is our project lead in this area. Mr. Bill Parker, who is the meteorologist in charge at the National Weather Service here in Jackson, Mississippi, is our industry partner and also senior advisor. And Dr. April Tanner serves as our project lead and co-PI in the area of computer science. This multidisciplinary approach to emergency management and disaster preparedness is centered around technology. Nevertheless, no particular discipline outweighs the other. One of the reasons we started with technology is because technology started its program under the umbrella of Industrial Systems and Technology in 2011 by starting a concentration in emergency management technology. And from that, we decided to take a multidisciplinary approach to reach a greater audience and to broaden our horizons. Now, let's look at technology's role here. Technology and emergency management. Technology is important in the training, the planning, the forecasting, the detecting and securing of information, but also to heighten awareness through information websites. And we see these information websites when we go to our respective states' emergency management sites, information sites such as ready.gov that gives us step-by-step instructions on how to prepare, even provides checklists. So check that out if you hadn't already. That's ready.gov, our FEMA websites, so on and so forth. So that's a major role of technology. However, more specifically at Jackson State, our aim through the use of technology is to provide simulation training and preparedness and response to our current students in our emergency management or emergency management related disciplines and to current responders. In the technology program, we have courses that focus on the principles and the functions of emergency management and technologies used in disaster management and preparedness. Technology is also important for the forecasting and notification. Looking at meteorology, meteorology's role is also important for the forecasting of atmospheric occurrences. This helps in predicting and alleviating the impact of damage due to natural disasters. Meteorology is so important because it also helps in working with transportation in light of evacuation routes, local emergency managers, of course, as well as state and federal emergency managers and disaster preparedness specialists, and much, much more. Because the weather impacts us daily. It impacts our decision making on what we do, what activities we participate, and just our day-to-day operations. But when disaster occurs, we have the aftermath. And this is the recovery. And the psychology's role is vital in this part because we have trained and skilled counselors, psychologists, psychiatrists who will be mobilized to help. They help people providing emotional support to cope with the stress and traumas that have occurred as a result of the disaster, and even the build up and preparing before the disaster. This in turn helps our communities to bounce back, the resilience piece, because psychologists have even found that even directing people to food, shelter, and clean clothing can help to ease tension and release stress and trauma. And it's so much, much more. The journalism piece is vital in providing the trustworthy platforms and informing our citizens of accurate, up to date information in a timely fashion by sending the proper notifications, warnings, early alerts. With this information, citizens can make informed decisions based on accuracy, based on knowledge, based on the proper information that's been gathered so they can provide protection for themselves as well as their families and the community around them. It's about decision making at this point, proper decision making. So now we look at computer science. And again, all of these majors, all of these disciplines are super important. The computer science helps in our functions of mitigation, planning and preparedness, response, and yes, it also helps in the recovery efforts too. With our cybersecurity, our cyber monitoring, making sure that our information is safe, making sure that personal and secure and confidential information is kept and encrypted in such a way that it's not easily accessible or not accessible unless it has the proper notifications and protocols. App development, app development that can help with the early alerts and even directing people. As an example, during the time of an event, there are apps that will direct citizens to local shelters in their community. This is a very good component for this. Social media. The right use of social media can alert our citizens of pending disaster, but also provide an avenue where there's an exchange where those impacted by disaster can notify loved ones and inform their loved ones of their location and of their well-being. So let's look at the multidisciplinary accomplishments at Jackson State and how we have impacted our Mississippi community. We are so happy to have positively impacted the Mississippi community, specifically the underserved and the vulnerable population. In the state of Mississippi, we do have quite a few rural communities that we want to make sure has the same accessibility, the same information as communities that are more populated, communities that may have more resources. We want to be able to provide that information that's needed. And of course, we would be remiss if we didn't provide information and support to our very own campus community. Our end users also include our students, be it the current student body at Jackson State and those who will be future students at Jackson State University. Because with our program, we do have a strong recruitment component where we work with area high schools and community colleges to inform them of career opportunities, scholarship opportunities in the areas of community resilience emergency management. Here are some of our examples of community outreach and education, some of the activities that we've been involved with since 2020, from developing short weather preparedness videos for both the Jackson State and the local community, hosting town hall meetings on weather preparedness and focus groups, conducting community-based research that has yielded us a number of conference presentations, peer-reviewed papers, as well as invitations to serve as guest presenters. And we've been so fortunate to establish a state-of-the-art simulation laboratories in which our current students, emergency professionals, and for our communities to enjoy and learn more about community preparedness in a safe environment. So, dating back to 2019, because of routinely holding outreach events promoting the importance of meteorology, weather preparedness, and emergency management as an academic discipline, we were recognized as a weather ready nation, thus identified as ambassadors for excellence. And this was bestowed upon us by the National Weather Service here out of Jackson, Mississippi. We've also had the opportunity to work with the Mississippi Emergency Management Agency, better known as MEMA. We worked with MEMA's mitigation division in its initiative for MEMA for Kids. This is an initiative where middle schoolers are taught basic emergency weather preparedness essentials and provides them with a checklist on how they can prepare, be it to aid their parents in the evacuation process, as an example, during a hurricane, or how to shelter in place while they're at school or at home. We provided, as earlier stated, a number of weather preparedness videos hosted from in our dormitories, our library, respective academic departments on campus, as well as our stadium. We even provided instructional video on game day or events at our local stadium. How can we shelter at that stadium in case of a weather emergency? Our weather preparedness videos and town hall meetings have been so rich. The weather town hall meetings have included such distinguished guests as local broadcast meteorologists, meteorologists a part of the National Weather Service, and representatives from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, where we've covered weather preparedness from the meteorology standpoint to impacts that can even be considered in light of cybersecurity matters. We've also included public safety matters as it relates to evacuation, policing, in light of directing personnel, but also response from our local area police, other law enforcement entities, as well as fire departments. We've also discussed insurance, the insurance protocols, and what insurance is to consider for your respective area, and the proper claiming processes after a disaster has occurred. And moving forward, going to the next slide here, we've also included doctoral research, where we work with graduate students who served as our graduate assistants. One in particular is a doctoral candidate who's conducting her research in the area of community resilience. And we've had the opportunity to work with Miss Sanae Harris on her exploration of emergency weather preparedness in the state of Mississippi and the psychological trauma and strategies to help those who have been impacted by emergency weather related issues. In 2022, we've been fortunate to establish a state of the art laboratory called ADAMS. ADAMS is entitled the Advanced Disaster Management Simulator. The funding for this was provided from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security as well as the National Science Foundation. And we are excited to proceed with this project and to have students as well as our emergency responders engaged, because Adams is prepared to help our students bridge the gap between the classroom training and live exercises. It also helps in the training for higher level of preparedness and promote more and effective and efficient emergency response in a safe environment. This yields for a greater probability to mitigate damage and ultimately a better chance to save lives. So we have a laboratory set up in two of our distinguished colleges here at Jackson State University, one being the College of Liberal Arts and the other being the College of Science, Engineering, and Technology. In fall 2022, specifically the month of October 17th is the exact date, where our inaugural community resilience, or shall I say, the certificate in disaster preparedness and resilience for vulnerable populations certificate program will start its classes. So we're looking forward to those who are interested in receiving a certificate beyond the bachelor's degree to enroll and engage in such a wonderful and rich program. And this program is designed for emergency responders, last responders, those serving as safety personnel, within industries and corporations, teachers, be it K through 12 or higher education, or anyone who's interested in learning more about emergency management and the proper notifications and the psychology portion. So, in summary, what is our broader impact? To provide an opportunity to engage the community and provide them with the tools they need to remain safe before, during, and after a disaster. And of course, we're saying natural, but we know in light of natural disaster, man-made disasters can also spin from natural disasters. So we're looking to help to keep people safe before, during, and after both natural and man-made disasters. We want to provide more people with knowledge and skills on survival of those disasters, specifically again for those underserved communities. And working with high schools, community colleges, and yes, even starting at our middle schools. We want to provide information on academic programs that specialize in emergency management and disaster preparedness and promote the next generation of emergency managers of a diverse set of skills and competencies that's going to benefit our communities. I, Jessica Murphy, would like to thank you for your time. If you have any questions, please contact me at my email listed below, which is jessica.l.murphy@jsums.edu. Again, that's jessica.l.murphy@jsums.edu. You can also feel free to visit our websites that's listed below as well. Our Community Resilience Project at Jackson State University, as well as our weather preparedness videos that's listed on the website as well. I would like to give special acknowledgement to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, specifically the Scientific Leadership Award, the National Science Foundation, the HBCU UP Target Infusion Project, as well as the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, the Center of Coastal Resilience, projects 2020, 2021, and 2022. So we thank you for your time. We thank you for your consideration. And again, let's build those community resilience pieces and promote weather ready nations. Thank you.